Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the FPL PubCast, the weekly preview stream we do on a weekly basis, surprisingly enough, every Wednesday at 6 o'clock. And joining me for this preview stream, because obviously now we're out of the murks of the international break, we've got two channel regulars. I'll start with the gentleman at the bottom of the screen, Kanji. You've been on quite a bit recently, mate. How you doing? How was your international break?
Yeah, thanks for having me back, Gary. I really enjoy speaking with you, Nick, Andrew, Gary. You guys are all legends of the community, so it's a pleasure to be here. The international break was a little bit boring, I gotta say. I'm just glad that basketball season is fully underway, so I can distract myself. But yeah, I've missed the Premier League.
Yeah, I told you beforehand, you made quite a bit of money on the old basketball down the years, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
We don't promote gambling on this show.
By his basketball skills, he's a brilliant basketball player, Andrew. That's what I meant.
Was it?
And jumping in, no, you're right. It's gambling.
Yeah.
And jumping in, before I can mention him, the master of the hit, FPL Nightmare, Andrew. How you doing, mate?
I'm not so bad. I can't complain. I'm a year older since you last met me for my birthday last week. 41.
And you're off work for a couple of weeks.
Oh wow.
Well, I'm off work for another 6 days.
6 days, yeah.
But I'm more knackered than ever. It's hard life because you get home and then it's like, oh, you're off work. Can you just paint the eaves? Oh, you're off work. Will you just sort the garden? The eaves is like the cupboard in the loft. Okay. So I have been painting that with anti-mold paint so that the bedroom wasn't all damp. So that was fun. And then I've been doing a bit of gardening in the middle of winter. Do you know, I used to always think of myself as a winter person. And now, like, I wake up at the crack of noon and it's already getting dark. And I realise what an idiot I used to be because I just missed the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit like that. And
Andrew, I was going to ask you, like, how old you were turning, but you already kind of ruined the punchline. Because I was assuming you'd just say a random age and probably just take four years off that because you've been taking a -4 every week,
I could have said I'm turning 67. That one's for me little boy.
And my co-host. Hopefully, we're not going to find any dead animals around his front room today. Trig, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, good. Enjoying the international break. Nice and relaxing. Lots of nice, calm peacefulness around the place, and looking forward to this one.
Yeah. So before we start, let's say a quick hello to the chat. Hi to Greg, who's already drinking the beer. Hi to Hippie, who I saw became a channel member a couple of days ago. Thanks, Hippie. Thank you for continuing reminding the charities. No worries, mate. I'll mention them again in a minute. To P. Macca, Podner, Phil, saying hello to you, Nightmare, Claire, I'm 1974, Matthias, Not in My Name, Avi, Daniel, Kevy, Avi, Paul, and Alex. And I'll stop there before anyone else comments. So in this one, we're not gonna talk about me and Trig's team from last game week because we did that last week. We'll have a quick look at Andrew and Kanji's team because they weren't on last week. We're gonna talk about, Gabriel. It's becoming almost like a meme now, isn't it? Everyone's talking about him. But we'll give a brief thought on him and also on all the yellow flags. Have a quick look at the fixtures. Canada's put together a wild card. We've got a new feature that we're going to be debuting this week. And then obviously we'll have a look at our teams for next week and our plans. So, usual reminder, first of all, I'll say it's Men's World Mental Health Day, which we're going to talk a little bit about at the end. So I'm going to shout that out. But also our usual charities who any money we make this month will be going to. Mine obviously do a lot of mental health. I wonder if that's connected to International Men's Mental Health Day. It might be, actually. Do a lot of great work with psychological type stuff. My brain's gone in the UK. And Street Child United, who do a lot of great work with homeless children around the world. And please like the stream and subscribe if you're new around here. So we'll start, as I say, we're not going to look at my team and Triggs because we did that last week. We'll have a quick look over Nightmare and Kanji's teams, though. So here's Nightmare. I'm going to say, they always say this in every stream. Last game week feels like a million years ago, doesn't it? They always say that.
Yeah, it just feels like yesterday to me when you look at that. I have not been able to let it go all through the break. I'm not going to lie, it ruined my birthday.
Yeah, it's a
fact. I went out for a meal and I'm sat there and my wife's saying, "Oh, you're having a nice day." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not having a nice day because Dan Byrne got sent off and got me 0 points. And I can't let it go."
So Nightmare, 38 points, 4 million. Pope 3, Uno 6, Timber and Gabriel 1, Byrne 0, obviously sent off, and Burmo 7, Fernandez 5, Rice 2, Semenyo now yellow flagged with 0, Voltamade and Haaland. Do you know how long ago it feels to me since the last game week?
About 10 days.
10 days, yeah, almost 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so you weren't particularly happy then, Andrew.
I'm just playing for fun. I'm not bothered. Everyone got a good laugh out of it. And if I can't win the game, I'd rather spread some joy to the world. And I feel like I'm doing that by being an absolute tit every week. So, people are going to start thinking I'm like Nathan Bacon, just a bit of a gimmick and, trying to do it for the videos. But, Nathan Bacon's an underrated FPL player and so am I, as we will see with some killer analysis down the line.
A bit quieter than you, Nathan Bacon, though. I'll say that.
It might have been that I maybe dominated the stream with my sheer force of charisma. Oh, I don't know. I just get excited.
So right, let's skip through this because this was last week. We'll have a quick look at Kanji's team. So Kanji was on a free hit, and he's got a very good rating of 330k. Sells to Gabriel 1, Carucarella 6, Timber 1, Saka 12, Paqueta 4, Enzo 6. Now yellow flagged, Salah 2, Fernandez 5, Bowen 2, Mateta 2. I mean, when we did the Saturday night lock-in, I remember you weren't very happy, were you, Kanji?
Bro, I felt like the sky was falling. That's how I felt. Like I generally felt really bad because I was going up against like a 80% EO Semenyo, 80% EO Senesi. There was like 180% Haaland in front of me, and they all pretty much combined for what, like 8 points or something, like 6 points or 7 points, whatever it was. Like they basically blanked. I picked the perfect week to use the free hit, but the differentials that I picked in terms of Bowen, Enzo, and Salah just didn't deliver. Obviously, Salah had his like assist that he had from the corner that should have counted. I don't know what you guys think of that. What do you guys think about that goal ruled out, the Van Dijk one?
Greg, you have Van Dijk, don't you? But you benched him.
I do. He was on my bench, so I was actually quite pleased that it was ruled out. But yeah, it looked like they came out and said it was a mistake, didn't they, the following day, and that it should have been given.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Salah on corners, though, right?
It's not huge, is it?
Not to me. I mean, it's not going to make any difference. I'm not getting him in. He's 14. Well, he's not even 14.5 million anymore, is he? But, this is what the glory hog Salah has to do to try and get some attention nowadays, to try and hype himself up before the big AFCON Ballon d'Or push. He's a faded farce, isn't he, Kanji? Go on, slag him.
Oh, no, we can't slag the king. The king, no, disrespect to the king. That's not allowed here.
He's like the king on Trig's chess games when he switches them with the castle and moves the king into the corner out of the way.
I think Kanji's team it shows the danger of a free hit, doesn't it? It's kind of puts me off playing a free hit because you're immediately putting yourself up against everybody else in the community when you play it. And you think that the likes of Enzo and that are going to do well, but really, it's a lottery, isn't it? It's very risky.
Yeah. You're selling good players for good players. Bowen was unlucky, though. He had his goal, but the defender ran in front of him and took the goal away from him. I don't know if you guys saw that. The Kyle Walker-Peters one.
Am I not right? I did outscore your normal team, didn't I?
So yeah, my normal team had 48 points actually.
Oh right, okay. Well, it's a failure.
So my normal team,
it's a failure.
Yeah, it was just a bad week, but that's how the cookie crumbles in FPL. Like you take the risk, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you cook, sometimes you burn down the kitchen.
Exactly. I think the only thing I regret on this, it's not any of the picks. Like I would go against Haaland, against Van Dijk all the time. I'm very happy to run that back. I think the only thing I'm annoyed with is Enzo Maresca because he played Reece James for 90 minutes in the Champions League game, so I couldn't punt on Reece James and Cucurella. I ended up hedging my bets and going for sells there, and they conceded within like 10 minutes of the game. So that was a little bit annoying, but anyways, it's all good. 43 is fine. Look, I'm happy to move on.
Yeah, let's skip on to this game week. So, first slide I've got, I mean, I know everyone's talking about him, but I guess we need to give our... well, me and Trig already talked about him on Saturday, didn't we, mate, when he just literally got injured. But Gabriel's been... So, this isn't Gabriel showing a yellow flag. It's two separate points, Gabriel and then all the yellow flags. But Gabriel first, I think... Is it now confirmed that he's out for a month or 2 months?
Strongly suspected. It was David Ornstein said he was expected to be out for up to 2 months, but they were running further tests.
He's definitely going to be out.
Unless there's been some update today while I've been having my nap.
I don't think so. So, Trig, I'll come to you first, mate. What are your plans? We'll get to our own plans later. What do you think people should be doing? I mean, they're going to sell him, but I guess the question is where to, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much where to. I mean, there are choices, aren't there? I think Darius put a slide together with some defenders on, didn't he, for bringing in? But the logical choice, I guess, is Virgil van Dijk. Although if you look at the expected stats, Liverpool have been terribly in defence. They've been awful, but are one of the worst teams. But it's kind of logical. I think that's where most people are going, isn't it? But there are a lot of options in defence. I think defence is the one area where there are a lot of good differentials because if you look at the expected points among defenders, there's about 20 or 30 defenders that have got a very kind of narrow gap between them, and knowing which ones are going to do well, you can put some research in, and I think that's where you can really make up some ground. So, and it's all team dependent. So you have to look at all your other defenders, not just copy what FPL Harry tells you to do. And you can actually get ahead, I think. So don't just automatically bring Virgil van Dijk in. Have a proper look and decide what your team needs. That would be my advice.
Andrew, can I put something to you? I've already told Trig this. I put it for a review. Who do you think review want me to get in instead of for Gabriel?
Anderson.
Yeah. Anderson.
No way.
Yeah.
I am actually looking at Anderson.
Really?
I am actually looking. He's just got some good games. He picks up the points. And to be honest, I've been ploughing my own furrow this season, and it's safe to say it hasn't worked out. So I'm thinking maybe what I should do is a little experiment and just let review try and save my season and just do what review tell me to do every week. They could call me Gary the Second, and we can. I don't just to see, but. No, I don't think I will be using review. But the fact is, like, I've got defenders. All I need really is a defender for this week, and I can just play Big Dan Burn every week, and we're laughing. And when you look at this week, who have the games? Well, Fulham are at home to Sunderland. Now, you could say that's a tricky fixture. I think it probably is. But who else are you going to go for? Like, I've got a Palace. I've got a Arsenal. I've got Newcastle Burn suspended. I've got Senesi. So who else is there? Now I could go for a Brentford defender. I was studying it, a bit of a goat pick this, because if you look at the rotation, Brentford defenders actually line up really quite nicely. But Matty Cash, D-Unit, actually was suggesting Matty Cash to me, and I dismissed Matty Cash out of hand. I thought Cash is the way to bankruptcy. But I looked at it, and he's actually doing surprisingly well, and the fixtures aren't too bad. But I think what I will be doing is getting Mookie early.
Right down.
The other thing is, I don't think Gabriel's going to drop much. I actually think next week is the best week to take out Gabriel. I think putting him on the bench this week is not a bad idea, but game week 13, that's when Brentford are home to Burnley. Man City are home to Leeds. And other teams have got good fixtures. I reckon that is the time, unless you're getting Virgil van Dijk, it's next week is the best time to remove Gabriel. It gives you time to look at all this weekend's games and then jump on Brentford. jump on Man City with
Thing
more
is,
information.
Trig, a lot of people are playing the free hit. Well, I'm playing the free hit in 13. And
All serious players are taking advantage of them potential leaks and playing the free hit game with 13.
Kanji, mate, have you any thoughts? Someone mentioned Gavardio in here. JS said, he an option for you?
Yeah, there's a lot to consider. So first of all, like, do you think Arsenal defense regresses or is worse if Gabriel is out? That's the first question. What do you guys think?
Yes. Maybe not.
Do I think Arsenal's defence is worse if Arsenal's best defender isn't playing?
Yeah.
Well, I look at it like whenever I've seen them play with Gabriel and Mosquera, they've looked fine. Like in the Champions League games or the Premier League games,
it's worse, but it's a question of how much worse, isn't it? I don't think it's not gonna suddenly drop like flies, are they, and concede every game.
And then we have somebody like in the Arsenal defense, like let's assume, we have Hincapié and Mosquera that can fill into Gabriel's role because, with Arsenal, it's not really a one-player type of team where, for example, if you look at Liverpool in their past when they had Van Dijk or they had Alisson, they were very reliant on those two to have big contributions. I know, of course, Gabriel is the DEFCON monster. He has lots of defensive contributions.
DEFCON daddy!
Exactly. But it's more so like the system that Arsenal use is just so defensively sound. Like the entire team has this philosophy, right? So I'm not sure if I should actually be selling my Arsenal defender. I'm curious if I should just move to somebody like Timber and just stay inside the Arsenal defense. I'm not sure. Personally, I already have Van Dijk, so I have coverage of both Arsenal and Liverpool already. So for me, the question is, do I move sideways to somebody like Timber? And then do I move somebody like Ndiaye to Minte when he goes to AFCON? Or do I go down from somebody like Gabriel down to a 4.5, rotate my 4.5s for two positions, and have an extra 2 million to upgrade Ndiaye up to somebody like Foden or Cunha? So curious to hear what you guys think.
That's why Review wanted me to get rid of him for Anderson, was to bring in, I think they wanted me to bring in Foden, but I actually thought Cunha as well. I think that's a decent move. But Trig?
Yeah, I don't think necessarily Arsenal's defence will be worse because I think they'll make up for it elsewhere. Like the defensive midfielders are putting more of a shift because Gabriel's not there, and they'll be more alert defensively. I think it's more an attack that they're going to miss Gabriel probably, like in their corner routines and their set pieces. Yeah. That's where they're going to miss him. So Rice could actually be a very slightly worse option because he's less likely to head the ball, do a corner to Gabriel. But I think Arsenal will be fine. But if I was going to get one, it would be Saliba, I think.
What, because you reckon he'll get the knock-ons?
Well, he's going to be nailed. He's going to be 100% nailed while Gabriel's out. Often when Gabriel's out, he does really well. Like he could well be the one that scores the odd goal now. So that's where I'd go. But to be honest, I wouldn't go to any. I mean, I've got no Arsenal defence now, and it doesn't bother me in the slightest. So there's always alternatives, cheaper alternatives. And, I've got Virgil van Dijk already. So, yeah, 4.5.
Nick, this is great. This is great because it's like a template breaker, right? It's going to give us lots of diversity. Like I might go into like the next few weeks with double defense. You might go in with 0. Like that's going to make it pretty fun to see how it works out, right?
And because you've used your free hit, Kanji, I'd recommend a Brentford defender because they're home to Burnley next week. Everybody on free hit is going to get a Brentford defender in, and it's a good way of covering yourself a little bit for their free hit. So you can go Man City if you get a team leak, but otherwise it's very risky, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we can talk about what we're going to do with Gabriel and our own specific teams when we get on to that. The other thing I wanted to mention on this slide was all the yellow flags. So I had a quick look. I think currently Calafiori, Guehi, Enzo in my team, Semenyo, there was a few other very highly owned players. I mean, do you reckon they're all going to be fine? I've not really been keeping up with the injury news. Or are they just international break yellow flags, Andrew? What do you reckon?
Well, Nick Pope wasn't yellow flag, but he was off with concussion. But apparently Eddie Howe's cleared him last night. So Nick Pope's fine. Semenyo, his injury was that he was off to propose to his girlfriend. So I actually think that actually makes Semenyo a captaincy option, because he's going to be out there wanting to celebrate. He's going to be at his selfish best, which is what we all need in FPL terms. So that's interesting. So he'll be fine. Who else is there? Enzo? Well, I mean, only strange players pick Enzo Fernandez, and he's not one I would go for. I certainly couldn't imagine myself captaining Enzo Fernandez.
Step too
but,
far.
I mean, I don't even know who's yellow flagged. I've got Burn with a red, and then Gabriel and Semenyo. I think Gabriel will be out. Semenyo will be fine. Burn is clearly out because he's suspended. But what I would say is, whatever you're thinking, this is the risk when it comes to the dead spot in the squad at this time of year, because it was a strategy I deployed. I brought in Mark Guiu, or is it Guiu? Drew? You know who I mean. Big Mark.
It's not
from
Gui,
Chelsea.
it's like Gui.
He scores this week anyway. He scores this week.
If he plays. I brought him in, and now it's like, well, maybe that is a mistake I need to be correcting with a hit this week. And that's what I will be doing, but we'll save that for later. But this is the problem. If we had playing subs we could depend on during this hectic period with European fixtures, with the international breaks, with cup games in midweek, with midweek game weeks, now we suddenly need a squad, and quite a few of us have these dead zones in our squads, and now we look a little bit silly.
A squad of 15, though, Andrew. Like
you only need 2 on your bench.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think? With all this... I mean, that could be Gabriel and Semenyo taking up them subs, and then I've got Dan Burn as well. So that's that gone. If I had Enzo Fernandez and he missed out, suddenly I'm down to 10 men quite simply, quite quickly. So I just don't see why you wouldn't go with the full 15 just for this period. I think once the FA Cup begins in earnest in January, I think that's probably the best time to dead zone spots in your squad. But I feel for the next few weeks, I think having the extra is worth it, because there will be rotation. There will be injuries. Like, it's cold weather. People get more injuries in the cold. You know, some players always seem to get injured around Christmas. Like Neymar, he always used to get injured around the time of his sister's birthday. Because, you know, he had a special relationship with his sister, and he'd always fly back to spend time with her on her birthday. You know, that's documented. I think Reece James has never played over the Christmas period or something. Maybe that's coincidence, maybe it isn't, but the cold weather and the high intensity of games with lower recovery time begets injuries, begets rotation, and we need to be prepared for that if we want to be elite FPL managers.
This is why you choose Brentford and Man United players and teams like that. Teams that don't have such high fixture congestion. And I'm more than happy having Rodon and somebody else on my bench without having to worry about Gui. And I think Gui will come on anyway this week at some stage.
I think I've been playing the game I know I've been playing for 11 years now. I think I've gone down to third bench 2-3 times in 11 years. Like, it's not very often occurrence, is it?
No, it's not. And you've got transfers as well, so you know.
Or hits if you're not. And Kanji, you worried?
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's not just about needing all 3. It's about having 3 options over the period, because you could end up having like 2 subs, and they could be playing like Man City away, and you've got 2 defenders playing Man City away. But if you had a third one that was playing, you know, Wolves at home, then that could be an extra 4 points. And we all know how sacred 4 points are in this game. You can't just throw away 4 points just for the fun of it. You can't.
Again,
not if we're serious FPL players, we should cherish every 4 points we have.
Yeah. Kanji, are you worried about the yellow flags, mate, or do you reckon everyone will... I was just going to say, generally, this is a thing. Every international break, almost, isn't it? We come back with a bunch of yellow flags, and then usually most of them are cleared up.
Exactly. Yeah, I think Semenyo is fine. I also think Enzo is fine. Maybe there might be a chance he's either early subbed or benched this week. I'd probably look to sell him proactively, but that's the type of FPL manager I am. I think everyone else is going to be fine. Gabriel is the only real one, I think, personally. And
Clivert
also, I do
apparently
want to
could be properly injured. Clivert, which is bad for me because I don't own Semenyo, but it means Semenyo will be on penalties, and it could mean Krupi Jr. gets more minutes as well. So if Clivert is properly injured, then that does have a bit of a knock-on effect.
That's flies what you got there, Trig.
Yeah, a lot of flies in this part of the world. Oh, sorry, Kat.
Right, let's have a quick look at the games. So for regular watchers, we've decided to scrap predictions because they're boring. But so this is Rob D's table. I'll just quickly say, I'm not going to read through the stats. Chelsea favourite to beat Burnley. Brighton slight favourites over Brentford at home. Fulham slight favourites over Sunderland at home. Man City favourites again away to Newcastle. Arsenal quite high favourites at home to Spurs. Bournemouth again quite strong favourites against the West Ham. Wolves, Crystal Palace slight favourites there. Liverpool obviously big favourites at home to Nottingham Forest. Leeds versus Villa very very tight. Guess they're predicting a draw with that one. And then Man United above Everton. So I'll ask you guys, like, is there anything that stands out to you here? And maybe specifically, if nothing does in terms of captaincy, is this a week we could go against Haaland? Kanji, I'll come to you first, man.
Oh wow, yeah, I think this is the number one week to be backing against Haaland. The problem is
Right.
like the options to consider just aren't that great. Like there's no one that's clear cut. Like of course you have Saka who has not only goal threat, he has assist threat, he has pens, he has corners, he has def cons, he has extra point for clean sheets. Like Saka would be the standout captain alternative. I'm not sure if I trust Bruno. Like, I don't know if I really want to ever captain Bruno. I don't know if I trust him because he plays deep. Of course, he gets def cons, but his GA threat is very inconsistent. He's not like a good historical XG overperformer in terms of finishing, and most of the big chances are falling to Bumo or the striker anyway. And yeah, I guess you could consider Mateta as well, potentially. I would back Palace to... I think they're underrating Palace here. I think Palace will score 2 goals in this game, and they may not even concede. But yeah, I'm not sure if I think this is the perfect week to back against Haaland, but the only person that I would really trust with it is Salah, if I'm honest, and none of us own him. So I don't know if I really want to take the risk on this week.
How can you trust Salah when he's done nothing for weeks?
Yeah, there's just this like comfortability, you know?
You look at Newcastle, only 19% chance of a clean sheet. So 4 times out of 5, City are scoring. And at least you know who's going to be scoring when they do, and that's Haaland.
Ironically, out of 6 games against Newcastle, Haaland has only 1 goal.
Really?
He's due to correct those stats.
So
yeah,
what I would say is 16.6% of the time, Haaland has a chance of scoring against Newcastle. And also what I would say is that when Newcastle weren't playing a 33-year-old centre-back at left-back, they kept, 5 clean sheets in 6 games when they had a proper left-back at left-back, and now Lewis Hall is back. And I'm thinking maybe people are just underestimating Newcastle just a little bit. St. James's Park, under the lights, a point to prove. Also last year, Newcastle got humbled away at Brentford down at the G-Tech, and then they returned with 9 wins on the bounce. 9 wins. And now, could history repeat itself? Well, you know, all I'm saying is that if we look at the history of the fixture, yes, Man City will score, but it won't be Erling Haaland.
What do you think about the matchup of like Jeremy Doku versus like Trippier?
I think Malik Chow will cover Trippier perfectly, and Doku will be taught a lesson in how his trickery will be handled by perhaps the greatest English right back of the last 30 years.
Such an optimist, and I reckon we could get. I'm not going to say hammered, but I reckon we could certainly lose 2 or 3.
I don't think Haaland
we could
is
win
the
2 or
perfect
3
captain.
as well. Like, come on now. We could win 2 or 3. Anthony Gordon is back. Now, I'm not being funny, but do you think Eddie Howe hasn't been formulating a master plan just for this? Do you not think he's seen how Voltemada keeps dropping deep? Do you not think he's noticed how Anthony Gordon ruffled the feathers of the big guns over the last 3 seasons? A sensational record against him. Do you not think he's maybe been working on a formational switch with Voltemada dropping deeper, Gordon going ahead of him to stretch the defence, to create the space for Voltemada, Jacob Ramsey or Joe Linton, their physicality, their energy coming up that left wing, the Bruno and Tonali switching to the double pivot to dominate the midfield. The double pivot, we see Kieran is in the chat. Hello to Kieran. And and then you've got Jacob Murphy. Oh, he can just bang them balls across all day. Defenders don't know how to handle proper crosses anymore. Not these out-swinging curlers that Jacob Murphy can put on a sixpence for the strikers. I think Man City are in a bit of trouble this weekend, and
it's amazing that Newcastle aren't 10 points clear at the top of the league, isn't it?
Well, it always takes
a fantastic team.
It always takes Eddie Howe. The problem with Eddie Howe is he always reverts to what is safeness until the situation gets a bit dire, and he's like, oh hell, maybe people are right. Maybe I should actually be playing the better players in positions that suit their style. And then around this sort of time of year, we go on a run. Like last year, we were 12th in December. We ended up in 4th place or 5th place, and we won the cup. And this is what Eddie Howe does. He's a slow starter but a strong finisher, and he knows how to give those big boys a bloody nose. And I'm just saying, I think it is a good week to go against Haaland, because the problem Newcastle have had, when they had a proper left back playing with pace, we weren't conceding goals. We only conceded goals to Liverpool because we were down to 10 men, and fair enough, Lado scored a great goal. But we weren't conceding goals. We were comparable with Arsenal on the stats, and we're going to have a proper left back playing. We're going to have Lewis Hall playing at the weekend, and that can't be overlooked, because the reason we're conceding goals is because teams are targeting Dan Burn at left back. Well, Dan Burn's not going to be at left back.
Okay.
And
to move us on a bit, so if you weren't captain Haaland, who would you go for?
Semenyo and Boomer.
Oh,
Semenyo.
Yeah, Semenyo actually has my vice captain at the moment. I thought I would be the only one thinking that way, but
well, with Semenyo, I mean, he's proven he's capable of these 18-point hauls. Like Trig says, Cliver is out, which always benefits Semenyo. If you look at the Rob T stats, Bournemouth are predicted for 1.96 goals. All of which will be funneled through Semenyo. And I do believe in the narrative, and he has just proposed to his girlfriend. Now, you might see a yellow card when he scores the hat-trick goal and he takes off his shirt to say, oh, I love you, lassie, on his shirt. But I think we can take a point. We can sacrifice a point when you think he's going to score 3 times. So he's a possibility. I mean, it's West Ham. Like, they're not that good.
Yeah, I think it's just the missed penalty last time that put me off. What about yourself, Trig? Would you be tempted to go with Haaland? And if you were, who would you side towards?
I think a lot of it depends on your rank, really, and your appetite for risk. I think he's probably not the best captain as such, but I think if you're going to go against him, you need a really compelling case, and I just don't think there's anyone else that far ahead of him to take the risk of all that ownership. I think they're being a bit hard on Tottenham here, saying Tottenham have only got a 13% chance for a clean sheet. This is a big derby, and Tottenham are going to be up for this. I don't think Gyökeres might be out, and I don't see Arsenal getting that many goals. And they've got to cope without Gabriel. I think Tottenham are going to keep this quite low scoring. I think Van der Ven winner.
I agree with Trig. I feel that those ratings for Arsenal and Tottenham are downright disrespectful. I don't know where they've got this idea from. Spurs are 5th in the table, I think. certainly up in them places. They've played well. They beat Man City 2-0 away from home. There's absolutely nothing to say they can't do the same against Arsenal, who are missing the best defender. And also, the primary target for the set pieces from which to score about 95% of the goals. So, but to move the conversation on, do you not think it's also quite interesting? Like I mentioned Anderson earlier, and I got a few sniggers. I got a few comments in the chat. Oh, not Anderson. Whatever will Darius say? But when people are talking Virgil van Dijk as an obvious replacement, but you look at those statistics on the clean sheets, Fulham and Liverpool are almost identical. And Anderson, we know he can match Van Dijk for DEFCONs. Van Dijk's doing his best to match Anderson for clean sheets this season. So why not just save $1.5 million? You know, like I don't think in a rotation Anderson is that bad a pick, but like we're talking Van Dijk and Anderson, we're talking about the defenders that are like 28th and 29th in the rankings of points. They're just not for me, like.
Yeah, they're both terrible defences, aren't they? And the thing with Anderson, Lou kicks out as well, isn't he? Which is very bad for Fulham's clean sheets, even though they don't get clean sheets anyway. And I think they're very underestimating Sunderland still. So I don't think it's that great fixture for 36%. I guess that's about right. Like we always say, you know, 36% means there's twice as likely to not be a clean sheet as there is to be a clean sheet, isn't there? So, you know, you're thinking, yeah, it's still pretty bad. You've only got one chance in 3 pretty much of getting a clean sheet.
You'll get his DEFCONs.
You get his DEFCONs. Yeah, he's not bad this week, to be fair. But I certainly wouldn't bring him in specifically for this game. I mean, the next 3 are awful afterwards.
I think Nick said it. Nick said it perfectly when he first spoke, I think like 5 minutes ago, which is like, you know, it's really hard to find the right opportunity to back against Haaland. It really has to be like a slam dunk. Last week, it felt very obvious where you had Chelsea, the team that had the most XG created at home to Wolves. Like that felt like a very slam dunk opportunity. Chelsea were going to score 3 goals. I went Enzo captain. I was let down. I'm very open to differentials, but this week I just don't know who it is. Like I'd want to captain Enzo again in the Burnley fixture, but his minutes are low. I still think Chelsea win this game 2 or 3-0. But the Arsenal game's unpredictable. The United game's unpredictable. Everton are no like scrubs, like they're a good team. Forest is the same. So it's really just like Bournemouth and Chelsea where I think it's like an easy win. But yeah.
Burnley could be difficult for Chelsea, I think, this week.
What I will finish by saying is Haaland only has 10 points or more away from home once this season, and that was on the opening day against Wolves. So if you are going to bet against Haaland, when he's playing away is a good time to do it. And if you're going to bet on him when he's playing away against an elite defence like Newcastle, with actual defenders in the proper positions at St James's Park, under the spotlight, seems perfect to go against him. And like you say, there's no standout difference. I genuinely think Semenyo is a standout alternate this week. And
we can't be 100% sure that he isn't carrying an injury. I know he did go off to his party or whatever. But
don't come at me with logic, Trig. I'm trying to spin a narrative.
He's had no attacking returns for about 5 weeks. And like maybe he has been having a little injury. We don't know.
So can we move on to our news section, which Darius has very kindly prepared for us. And Andrew, I think you're going to talk us through the new PubCast differential section.
Right. Well, under great protest from Gary, the PubCast landlord, who does not like to try anything new in his streams, who likes to portray an image that this is a raucous streaming experience, but in reality is just another preview stream. We tried to introduce this, and we've bullied him for 36 hours. We have bullied Gary to have a bit of fun on his own show, and he's finally relented. It took Trig threatening to quit the PubCast just to play a little game. But this is what it takes when you're dealing with these high-level elite operators of the streaming game.
The landlord.
Like poor Kanji didn't know what was going on, and I had to say, Kanji, man, it's all right. This is just what happens in international breaks. We have to create drama for ourselves. So anyway, the drama we have created this time, which we should really call the differential drama, we're just going to have a little game between ourselves. And what we're going to do is every week, the 6 of us, the 4 that are on stream tonight, plus Roberto, the Ghost, and Darius D Unit, we're all going to pick one player under 5% ownership. And we're just going to see who can get the most points over the course of the season. Like just a little challenge, a little bit of fun, no stress required, because FPL is about more than just overall ranks. And what we're going to do, we're going to judge it on game week wins, who gets the most game weeks, who wins the most game weeks out of the 6 of us. So if Kanji's pick of Estevao gets the most points, he would get 1 game week win. Then we're going to do it who gets the most hauls. So if you score 10 points or more, you get 1 in the haul bag. And then obviously we're going to do it by overall points as well. So this is a fun little feature that we're bringing under great duress to Gary, who despises fun in any way, shape or form.
I love it.
You know, Gary's being serious when his voice goes high-pitched. And so this is what we're going to be doing for the time being. So this week, the differential pick of Trigger is Cunha, who he's just said you can't trust Semenyo because he's got no returns. But here he is, turning the phone book on his head by getting 1 return. Cunha as his differential pick for the game week. I have gone with Amad Diallo because I do rate the lad. I kind of wish Newcastle had gone for him instead of Alanga, if I'm being honest. But here we are. Oh yeah, like I mean, this is a sidebar, but if Alanga has been very disappointing, and Amad Diallo deserves to be playing right wing for Man United rather than wing back, and they've put him there the last few games, and they're reaping the benefits. And yeah, I mean, I think Amad Diallo is a very underrated player. Roberto's gone for McAllister, D Unit's gone for Garnacho, Kanji has gone for Estevao, and Gary has gone for Yankuba Minter, who was under 5% at the time of selection. So that's what we're going to be doing. A little bit of fun. If you don't like it, we'll save it to the last slide of the show from now on, so you can switch off early and not have to deal with it.
No one's bugging off.
We could have a poll. We could have a poll, Gary.
Well,
we could have a poll to see if people like it or not.
I'll finish the poll that I've got going, and which is, I didn't actually mention it, Haaland. Is it the week to go against him? What do you reckon, lads, if you haven't got the thing open, the results will be?
Well, I can see the results.
Oh,
no, I can't. So you've just moved the poll.
I've just ended it.
Well, of course, they've said no by 57% to 43.
That's tight.
Because
that's tighter than I expected.
It's not tight. Come on now. That means... Well, I disagree it's tight, personally.
The thing is, though, it means 57% are picking Haaland, and the others are all spread out all over the place.
No, it doesn't.
So it still means Haaland's very, very preferred.
It means on Wednesday night, 43% of people are flirting with the potential of going against Haaland. But if you ask the same thing, the exit poll after the deadline, I feel like it'll be a bit different. Who did you actually captain? I feel Haaland will be a lot higher, but it is the week to go against Haaland because Newcastle are going to win. And Haaland has 1 goal in 6 against Newcastle. You can't say you weren't told.
Yeah, I felt the same way about Haaland last week. And then he got lucky with the pen, his first one of the season. And then he had this really nice goal from, I thought Konate should have cleared it. But anyway, that's not here nor there. But let's move on.
Okay. All right. I'm going to do a poll. Do you like the new differential section of the podcast?
So do we not talk about our differentials or?
Yeah, I think we should. We should, yes.
Well,
I'm looking. Gary doesn't think people will sign any of these players that we talk about, but I disagree because Kanji has already said he's going to bring Minter in a few weeks.
This week, I agree. I'm looking at Cunha and I've already got Minter. But go on, Nick.
I actually picked Cunha because I didn't want to pick somebody that was just a 1 week differential because that's a bit silly, isn't it? So yeah. I think we should use this to actually pick players that are good going forward. So it's much easier to talk about them. And I think Cunha at only 4.5% owned is a terrific little differential. I mean, he hasn't done that much yet, but he's gradually growing into his role. Sesko's out for a month at least, probably 4, 5, 6 weeks. That's going to help him. everyone's getting Bumo, but Bumo's off in about 4 weeks' time, and then that's another transfer. And when Bumo is gone, Cunha's role in the side is going to go up. United have got fantastic fixtures coming up, so all the buying pressure is going to go on to those Man United players. I'm getting him in this week, possibly like Andrew says it's a bit early. My original plan was to get Semenyo and then swap him to Cunha in 3 weeks, which might well be the more sensible approach. But I think he's a great little differential. I had him last season just at the right time. And, I think his stats will improve, basically.
Review loves him. He's really high up on there at the minute. Good. Well, while you're on, do you want to cover D Units one? Because you were saying on your video the other day about Gon, actually, weren't you, Trig? Or was it when we were on Strat Saturday?
I think he's great for this week because Gittins is injured and he quite probably will play against Burnley, and he's actually getting quite a bit of output. He's quite a selfish player. He's an annoying player. Far too selfish. Takes a lot of rubbishy shots and that, but he does occasionally get goals and stuff. So he's got a bit more output to him than Enzo Fernandez, I think. And if I had choice of one of those two this week, I'd much rather have Garnacho. And he's playing pretty well.
Yeah, I keep catching these Enzo Fernandez strays, man. Oh, that captaincy last week just killed me. But I ended up picking up Esteval. He's been one of the best players in the Premier League. He hasn't been getting that many minutes. That's probably why you haven't heard of him. But he's been a star when he was, I think, in the Brazilian league last year. He's come in whenever he's had minutes in the Premier League and delivered goals and assists. The same in, I don't know if he's played in the Champions League much, but I'm sure he's delivered there. He delivered for Brazil. Did you see the penalty on the weekend, by the way? It was like top right corner. Oh, he's unbelievable, this guy. I think
Enzo gave him a penalty the other week, didn't he? And I wouldn't be surprised if Esteval's on penalties now.
Look at his numbers. He's almost on 0.5 for goals and assists.
I tell you what, I was watching The Wire last night, and Praz went to watch that Brazil game, and he was absolutely blown away by Esteval. He said he was like electric, and everything he did, the crowd, all the other players and everything, whenever Esteval had the ball, everything went up a gear. And he's absolutely fantastic. Sometimes you have to see these players in real life to realise how good they are. And, we had the Under-19 World Cup here in New Zealand about 10 years ago. And I went and watched Brazil. And there was Gabriel Jesus, the Arsenal striker. He was only about 17. And I watched him and I thought, that is absolutely brilliant. And then, of course, he signed for Arsenal, Man City, and Arsenal. And but Esteval, honestly, world class. Watch him now because you're going to be watching a future world star. I just wish Maresca would start playing him more.
It's nice that it's nice to hear Nick has given me that stamp of approval, because he did not give me that approval for the Enzo captain before it happened.
However, Esteval will not start against Burnley because Maresca prefers playing him in the Champions League, and because he's been playing with Brazil, he's much more likely to start the Barcelona game, I think. But he will come on against Burnley, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets attacking returns when he does come on. So he could still be a good pick, even with only 30 minutes.
Yeah, it reminds me of what Diogo Jota used to do. I wanted to bring him up for one reason. There is a fixture on for Chelsea. Game like 24-27. They play West Ham at home, Wolves away, Leeds at home, Burnley at home. There is no doubt I'm going to own at least 2 Chelsea assets. And ideally, I'd want Palmer, but who knows if Palmer's minutes will be good. But if we could get one of these two in terms of Estavio or Esteval or Garnacho with good minutes in that run, they could do really well. So just like something to consider for the future.
I'm desperate to bring him in. Absolutely desperate to bring him in. But I can't at the moment. Once I get him, it's safe to get him. But
you really can't get Esteval because you need to get Sepp van den Berger.
You need a lot of injuries in those wingers at the moment. But I reckon by January, February, he's going to be in the side. Once Chelsea are chasing the championship, then they're going to have to.
I don't know.
And now he goes to Madrid. He'll be off to Madrid for 200 million in a year or two. Flog him, Maresca. We want to watch him.
I don't know. These all feel like the same sort of arguments you used to get about Harvey Barnes when he was scoring off the bench. And you know, like it's a different kettle of fish when you're playing against seasoned pros who are at full capacity energy wise. To when you're coming on off the bench for 20 minutes against a faded defense like Liverpool, who are all man defense who are tired, scoring at the end. He's got one goal and it was against old man Van Dijk. I mean, is it that impressive? Like, the problem with Esteval, I think he's a good player. I'm not telling you to ignore the sage words of Nick Triggerlips, but what I would say is that Chelsea do have an awful lot of attacking options in the positions that Esteval operates in, and you do have Cole Palmer returning very soon also. So that would be the counter argument. But he's a good player.
Well, that's what we said. That's what we said. We said we can't pick him.
Yeah.
I was agreeing.
Where's that fly swap?
I was agreeing with you, Trig. If you want me to tell you that you're wrong all the time, I can do that.
Andrew, talk us through yours and maybe comment on young Ghosts as well.
Well, I would say the reasons to select McAllister are like Roberto in the streaming platform, and they are absent. But
I'd agree.
Amad Diallo, I've just talked about him. They've put him at right wing, and he's the one that's making it all tick. He is the key unlocking that attack, and I just like him. Sometimes you just like a player. These two, like Esteval, well, I think Amad Diallo is better.
Darius loves him, doesn't he?
I think he plays well. If he played for Newcastle, I'd love him. It's like. He's just a good player, a good solid player that produces the goods. Now, I do think his data is not as good as it looks like. I mean, he's getting very few attacking return. I feel like these XG stats must be per 90, because there's not a chance that Esteval is averaging 0.95 a game on. In my opinion, I think there must be per 90 because he's come on and had an impact. So that 20-minute impact is extrapolated. But Amad Diallo does, I'm just bringing it up. Just give me a second. I should have been prepared for this. But yeah, I mean, if you look at his expected goals data for Amad in the last 4 games, since going to the right wing position, in 3 of those last 4 games, he's actually got an expected goals of 0.00. So, the goal threat perhaps isn't there, but I just like him.
Can I just give
I just like him.
Shout out to the FPL Double Pivot. He is in Sweden apparently, and they are going about 9 tonight, so do give them a watch. And also, someone has messaged me. We should congratulate Scotland for getting to the World Cup. First time in 26 years, is it? Something ridiculous. Was that the 98 World Cup? I remember that World Cup.
It's nice, isn't it? It's nice to see these smaller nations get a chance in these expanded tournaments. You don't get to see this a lot. Who knows? Maybe Kanji's Canada might make it there for once as well.
They did last time, didn't
they? I think we have I think Canada get automatic qualification for the World Cup this year.
All right. I only pay attention to nations I've got a chance of winning.
Yeah,
here you go.
Kanji, you were there last time because I remember. Oh, maybe it was. Well, you were there last time, weren't you?
I honestly don't even think so. But you were our team is all right. We have Alphonso Davies, we have Jonathan David, we have some good players.
Yeah, you were there last time. You were definitely there last time because I remember seeing them play. Anyway, lads, right?
They all build on the foundations that David Edgar laid.
I will finish off with mine. Minter, FPL Review told me. Right, let's actually triggered it. But let's move on.
We had to pick Gary's.
I had to pick one.
He didn't want any part of it. He didn't want any part of his differential.
All right.
Section.
Well, yes.
So we had to pick his own player for him this week.
Well, Craig, I will take my hat off. You were right. I will end the poll. Do you like the differential section? Yes, 88%. No, 12%. So
88%.
88%.
Wow.
So I will admit I'm wrong. But I'm going to hand over to Kanji because we've now got a wildcard draft. And, well, you asked me to include these, Kanji. So Tell us what you
All right,
take away.
just wanted to really consider we're all looking to replace Gabriel, right? We're all looking for either likewise swap for swap in the same price point, whether you're going to go to Kukurea, Vardiol, O'Reilly, Van Dijk, or you could downgrade and bring in another differential upgrade in your midfield. And I think what I wanted to mention is just look at the fixture pileup for a team like Liverpool as an example, right? For me, I have Van Dijk, I have Szoboszlai, but look at the congestion. We're playing every single midweek, and all of the games matter. We've already dropped points in the Champions League. We need to play our best 11 there and in the Prem, right? The same would have to be done with Arsenal. However, Arsenal have done so well in the Champions League. They've won every game. Maybe they could rest some of their star players in the Club Brugge game, right? So just something to consider. And that's why I wanted to mention why Brentford and Manchester United assets are so strong, because they're going to be coming up against teams that could be leggy in this fixture run, and they should just have added days of rest. And I just think that's something to really consider moving forward.
Man City have 9 games between now and Christmas. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And they've
That's
got the
a
players
lot
to
of
rotate
games.
as well, haven't they? I mean,
So have Chelsea, of course, and
so wait, what are the midweek Premier ones? It's
Palace.
13 to 15 and 18 to 20. Is that right? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Game
right.
week 14.
Yeah, game week 14 is
The columns alternate, Gary, so just look for the one that's in the middle.
I think they're the ones to play the free hit on, those ones that are in the middle of the weeks, because that's when the likes of Haaland might not even play, and you can make massive inroads.
I completely disagree with that assessment. For one, I think Haaland's going to play every game. Man City can't afford not to play him. But also, I think what you need to do is look at the game weeks where you can have these 1 week punts on these big players that you don't own. So, for me, I don't own Bukayo Saka, but game week 16, Haaland plays Crystal Palace. I don't have Saka, but he plays Wolves. That is a great option for the free hit to bring in Saka for the captaincy and then not have to stress about him at all. Likewise, if I wanted to gamble on Liverpool, that Wolves game in game week 18, imagine Ekatike and Isak both up front for you for that one game. I mean, it's quite nice. You could even have Haaland as well. Maybe it doesn't work out, but as a 1 week punt when Salah is away, why not give it a bash? Wolves are terrible. They've got a free midweek before it as well. So, this is where I'm looking. Where could I get Cole Palmer in for one game where he could be a good captaincy option? And of course, game week 19 with the free hit, all the big teams that you generally build your squads from have great fixtures. So there's no panic with these trips, really. The free hit or the triple captain if you've still got it. Because game week 19 is you get out of jail free card because you can just have a bit of fun. But, that's what I'm looking. If I go against the proper FPL approach of waiting for the leaks in game week 13 and maximising your free hit,
I thought it was the leaks in 14 because it was midweek.
It can be lots of weeks.
It's a leaks in game week 13 because there's 6 teams playing at 3 o'clock, including Manchester City.
Right, okay.
But also you've got Chelsea versus Arsenal in that week, but you've also got Brentford versus Burnley and Aston Villa versus Wolves. So they're 2 teams you could load up on instead of Chelsea and Arsenal assets with great fixtures for 1 week and then not have to deal with, who do I play? Do I play, my Chelsea players or my Arsenal players? Just like that. But
people are sleeping on Saka. Is not a bad fixture for Saka playing Chelsea. People aren't going to have him on a free hit, and they're could end up in trouble by not having him, I think.
Kanji, do you want me to move on to your wildcard draft, or did you have anything?
Yes, please. Yeah. So
can I just say something? I think this shows the importance of bringing in players that are not involved in Europe at the moment, and like Kanji said, Brentford being heavily slept on. Everyone's talking about Thiago, but Brentford defenders, in the last 5 game weeks, Brentford are 3rd on expected goals conceded. Only Man City and Arsenal have better defences the last 5 weeks. Over the entire season, it's only 5 teams above them. They've got a great fixture in 13. So this is why I'm taking out Gabriel next week. So I don't have the free hit, and I can have a Brentford defender at home to Wolves. They've got great fixtures in 16 and 17 or whenever it is. And they're good. They're being slept on. They're not that different from Palace defenders, but nobody supports Brentford. Unless you live in that part of London, you're not supporting Brentford. Whereas there are millions that support all these things like Man United and all them. So they get a lot more love. And Brentford just go completely under the radar unless it's someone like Thiago who forces everyone to pay attention. But Van der Berg and Collins, fantastic. But
Trig, there's something a little bit wrong with your volume, mate. It's sort of like a bit distorted. Or what?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
That's better. I think.
I was waving it around, probably.
That's better. That's better, mate. That's better.
So hopefully you all heard what I was saying.
Yeah, we could hear.
Yeah.
To emphasize, goat picks.
Yeah. To emphasize his point, like, look at Palace. Look how much rotation. Look how much fixture congestion there is. Yeah. Look at Spurs. Like, it's just a mess. Like, I'd rather just avoid them if I have an alternative from another team that I feel like is close enough where they just have more rest. So.
Right, let's move on to Kanji's wildcard draft. Lads, I'm completely thrown because, of course, I always go for my nose. What do you call it? Powder in my nose break during the predictions, and I'm completely thrown off. So I'm going to read out Kanji's wildcard and let you guys discuss it while I go and powder my nose.
Gary,
yes, man.
Gary, you know these powder in your nose things? You know, it makes it sound like you have to take a load of cocaine to get the energy for the rest of the stream.
I
know you're genuinely going for a wee, but every time you say it, I think, oh, he's flagging. He's an hour in. He needs that hit.
No one on the podcast would do any such a thing.
Maybe on the lock-in.
Well, we won't go into that anymore. All right, so Kanji's wildcard draft is Ray and Dubravka, two keepers, Van der Berg, Senesi, Richards, my favourite, Anderson, and Virgil. I'm liking this early. In defence, and Burmo Cunha, of course, Szoboszlai, it had to be Kanji, didn't it? Fernandez and Saka, and then Gu, where his bloody name is, Thiago and Haaland up front. Talk us through it, Kanji, and then lads, give your opinions while I go and have a wee. I'm going to say wee for.
Yeah, you probably should if you're reading the live chat.
Just one question, Kanji. Is this your actual wild card or one you're just doing for the summer?
Oh no, I actually wildcarded the same week as you. So we wildcarded, and I think in game week 4 it was me, you, Let's Talk FPL, and Fran. We all wildcarded in the same week before everyone else. But if I had a wildcard this week, I think I would set up like this, and I'll explain why. I think owning one Arsenal defense is just very smart. They have the least expected goals conceded over the season. Now, you could consider Timber in that spot instead, but I've opted for Raya just because I'm also a Liverpool fan, and I think Van Dijk is the FPL unicorn this season. He has access to clean sheets. He has access to DEFCONs. He's probably due a goal in the Premier League, if we're being honest. The fixtures for Liverpool are just gorgeous. I'm backing the team that we all expected to be in the top 4 to finish in the top 4. So that's why I went for Van Dijk, and that's why I went for Raya. Then if you look at, I think Trig mentioned it very well, Brentford have been very good defensively. In fact, in the last 5 weeks, Sepp van den Berg is second for expected goal involvement amongst defenders. He's also in the top 5 for defensive contributions in the last 5 weeks as well. So he kind of has that dual threat, and he actually rotates very well with Richards, where you really want to be backing Palace. I think Richards is very underrated for what he provides. He's only 8 points off of Munoz, and he's like 1.2 million less. And what you can do is when Richards plays Manchester United and Manchester City, you can play Sepp van den Berg, I think, who has Burnley at home and then has Wolves at home. So he rotates very well with Richards. Senesi Anderson rotation, I've mentioned this, I don't know how many times on the podcast. Like this rotation is just goated, as Nick would say. So that's how the defense would rotate. In the midfield, Saka and Bruno, and in the up front, like Thiago, Haaland, like those 4 to me are non-negotiables. Do you guys agree with those 4 being non-negotiables, or do you disagree?
I don't think you want 3 Man United midfielders, but
yeah, but we can touch on that after. But what do you think about Bruno, Saka, Thiago, Haaland?
I feel like, I mean, they're obviously.
Oh yeah, those ones, yeah, they're all good.
Very good picks. You can hold them for a long time, but I mean the rest.
Oh, here we go. All right, so okay. At least we agree on the locks. Now, Szoboszlai, Cunha, and Mbumo, it's really about how much you really trust Liverpool and Manchester United, really. Like these are like the punt players to have in your team. You could consider the likes of a Phil Foden. You could consider the likes of a Minte and upgrade one of your defenders to Timber. But I just felt like Manchester United have the fixtures coming up, especially from 14 to 16 with West Ham, Wolves that are coming up, and Bournemouth, where I genuinely back Man United to do well. They're also going to have a lot of rest as well. With Cunha, you have the guy that's going to be the striker that's playing for Manchester United, but he's a midfielder in FPL. Bumo has just been the output merchant for Manchester United. So I know it seems like I'm a little bit heavy. If you don't like that, you can downgrade to Minte or Sade or Foden. And then Szoboszlai is the fixture play. So that's what I would be doing on Wildcard. I know that those three players in the midfield on the left, most people wouldn't agree with, but that's where I would go.
What I like it's almost the same as my team, because once I bring in my Brentford defender, my defence will pretty much be identical to that, except I've got Rodon instead of Anderson. Midfield, I've got Cunha, Fernandes and Saka. But instead of a third Man United, I've got Sarr, and I think Sarr is really good. And I think you're cutting yourself off a bit from him. I think you'd want him the next few weeks because you haven't got Matata either. So I think you're a little bit light on Palace, although, like you said, the fixtures are awful. And it's one less player to worry about AFCON, isn't it, not having Sarr? But yeah, I don't think you can argue with that forward line. I think that's the way of the future. Despite Andrew taking a hit to get rid of Gui this week after taking a hit to bring him in last week.
I haven't taken it yet. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to get the views on my video when I get it out tomorrow.
Can we go on?
Then I'll do it.
Can we go on to our teams, lads? So I think I've got Nightmares first. So this is Nightmares game week 12 team. So he's currently got Pope in goal at home to City, Minoz away to Wolves, Spurs and Gabriel at home to Spurs, Senesi at home to West Ham, and Burma and Fernandes at home to Everton, Rice, Semenyo at home to West Ham, Voltemade and Haaland captain, mate. So we've entitled this stream on your instructions, Andrew. FPL Nightmares taking another hit. I'm assuming that's the plan, is it?
Yes, the plan is Gabriel and Guiu out, and then sub 4.9 million defender and Igor Thiago in, and then the pivot back to the 3-4-3 formation I abandoned just 2 game weeks ago. But this is a game of this. Well, I mean, I still will be big at the back. Like, say, for example, I could bring in, Van der Ven, for example, and you could quite easily play Munoz, Timber, Van der Ven, Senesi, and Burn in any given week, But it's about the rotation. Like, maybe I made a mistake a couple of weeks ago, but if you look at who I've actually brought in over this time, now I brought in. I feel like the only real mistake was pivoting from Saka to Timber. I feel like if I hadn't done that, it would have all been fine. I feel that was a mistake, especially when you think it's Spurs, then Chelsea, Aston Villa a couple of weeks after that. I just feel like I let everybody get in my head, one Arsenal defender isn't enough. And it was like, well, it kind of was, because other defenders can match the second Arsenal defender or beat them. And I feel like that was a blunder. I can hold my hands up and say that was a blunder.
Timber's not done amazing, is he? He's been fine.
He's had one. To be honest, he's very much like Van der Ven. I feel like he's a little bit overrated because he had one huge game. Like, I was looking at Van der Ven as an option, but if you take out that 23-pointer, he's a very average defender. I think would be on about the same as Joachim Anderson.
Hamstrings made a string, as Darius always says.
Also, injury-prone, European football, and I just don't think he's the one for me. Now, there are options. Matty Cash, Darius has got me thinking about Matty Cash because it's Leeds, then Wolves, and then it's Brighton, but I can always play Senesi against Everton there, or Dan Burn for the guaranteed win at home to Spurs that Newcastle always have. And then after that, who was I on about? again, Matty Cash. And then after that, it's Arsenal, so you'd bench him for that. But then game week 16, it's West Ham, when Senesi is away at Man United and Newcastle have Sunderland. So actually, for a 3-4-3 formation, Matty Cash works really quite well in this team. So shout out to D Unit. We always say the D in D Unit stands for delusional, but perhaps he has actually been quite clever on this occasion.
That was the one you came up with the other night. The word we came up with the other night.
I feel like what I am going to do is just downgrade to a budget defender and bank the money. Still get your man Thiago in for Gabriel, and then that's it. But anyway, I've diverged from my point. If you look at the players I have actually brought in on these hits, I've brought in Munoz, season keeper. I've brought in Mbumo, season keeper apart from AFCON. I've brought in Bruno Fernandes, season keeper. I've brought in Dan Burn, the ultimate season keeper. You know, I've brought in these players for the long term that I'm not going to have to do anything with. And if I do take another hit for Thiago and for, like, say Mukiele, they're both season keepers. This means that I will be able to focus my transfers on a very small number of slots in my squad to target the fixtures. You know, if Munoz starts flagging, he's an easy switch to Gvardiol or to Nico O'Reilly. If I decide against Timber, again, the same players, or Van Dijk, I can easily switch one of them back to Gabriel. Because the other three, like Senesi, Burn and Mukiele, they take care of that third spot themselves. And another key thing with Mukiele, I do feel dirty, I'm not going to lie, but with Mukiele is part of that 3-defender rotation with Senesi and Burn, then the fixtures are great on the rotation, but also I will always have one defender at home because Burn and Mukiele alternate home fixtures. So that is something worth having. If there's a week where all my defenders have bad games, just play the one at home. I think it works. I think it's a shrewd move, and that's why the hit is the secret weapon for me, my team. Not yours, not the audience's, but for my team, I think it's a good move.
I think you need to learn...
For your team,
Sorry, Joe. I think you needs to learn the term season keeper. He's a season keeper apart from going to AFCON. That sort of...
I think you need to learn... the term thinking for yourself, Gary. I couldn't just optimise my
season keepers every week.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Trig? Trig?
If it was my team, I'd be looking at bringing Thiago in, but not for Gui, but for Voltemade. And because Andrew's not free hitting in game week 13, he should be bringing in players that are good for 13. So Thiago's one you definitely want for game week 13 because all the free hitters will have him. Gabriel should go to somebody who's got a great fixture in 13 as well. I don't know if that's Villa. Do Villa have a great fixture in 13? I wouldn't take a hit at all. I would just do Voltemade to Thiago. And then next week, do Gabriel to either a Brentford defender or a Man City defender.
It's certainly an option, but all I need is for your man Thiago to outscore Sean Longstaff by 4 points for it to pay off. So can Thiago get a goal? I think so. He could get 2. He just got 2 against Newcastle. But also there is another factor to this in that Thiago is a player a lot of people will move for, like you say, and Gabriel is the one that will be sold quite a lot. So if I do play the free hit next week in 13, then I can't make a permanent transfer until game week 14. So by the end of the game week 14 deadline, that could be £1 million swing in the team value. Now, I think 4 points is a price worth paying for £1 million swing because Gabriel could drop 5 times between now and game week 14 deadline, and Thiago could rise by the same. And that's £1 million swing, and I just don't think it's worth it when I could get it fixed.
So you don't know if you're free hitting now in 13 or not?
I'm keeping my options open. I
know what you're doing. You're waiting to see team leaks.
No, I'm not actually, because my team for game week 13 looks really good. You know
exactly. So why keep your options open it's better to be decisive and come up with a plan.
Well, I was decisive and I came up with a plan and I got Timber and Gabriel in, and now Gabriel's injured and Timber looks weaker. You know, it's all right saying these big things about being decisive and having a plan, but, you know, it can come across like you have to be adaptable. Like,
Yes.
why wouldn't you keep your options open? I might do it. My preference is game week 16 because I don't have Saka, and then I can bring him in and captain him. That is my preference for the free hit. But I could have 3 players get injured this weekend. You know,
I was going to mention, like, if you look at your squad, right? Let's look at Senesi, Semenyo, Bruno, Haaland. Those picks don't matter. Everybody owns them. Let's just assume. So, like, the core of your squad is Newcastle defense, Newcastle striker, and you have like everyone has a Crystal Palace defender, I would assume. Everyone has an Arsenal defender. So really, like, the core differentials in your team are your triple Newcastle, your Bumo, and your Rice. Is that fair to say?
No.
No,
So
is that not fair?
I haven't got an Arsenal defender. You're assuming everyone's got the same
Right,
team
okay,
again.
well, last week, like, I think that's not really
average.
fair because, like, yeah, like last week, the Arsenal defensive EO was like 195%. So even if you lose Gabriel, you're assuming most managers have one. So, like, I'm looking at this team where I see, okay, everyone owns at least one Palace defender. Everybody owns at least one Arsenal defender. Everybody owns Senesi, Semenyo. I think it's fair to say his differentials are Timber, Pope, Burn, Voltamade, and Bumo and Rice. Like, that's at least what I believe. And so when I look at this team, I think you're better off using the free hit this week. You should cover up Newcastle because Newcastle are playing their worst fixture on paper, even though it's at home. I don't even like Haaland captaincy. I think this is a great week for you to free hit. But, like, for others, it doesn't make sense, but you are heavy on Newcastle. So why not cover up the worst fixture?
I thought about that as well, Kanji. I thought about doing it in 12. I'm still kind of considering it. It isn't a bad week this week to free hit, and nobody's talking about it.
If you go back and watch my excellent preview videos from previous weeks, game week 12 was actually the target for the free hit because of I had Gabriel as well, Gvardiol in as well, but until last week. So that was the plan: get rid of the Arsenal and the Spurs because I had Porro and Kudos, Gvardiol. So I was going to get rid of all the Arsenal and Spurs and Newcastle and Man City because they all played each other. It was the original plan, but now I'm thinking maybe I can just cruise on nicely. I've only got Haaland and Voltamade from that fixture. Pope is Pope. I'm not going to free hit for a goalkeeper. Dan Burn's already out anyway. So, I mean, I think the other thing you're forgetting is that there is a differential we all potentially have, and that is the cojones to captain against Haaland if we get it right. And now I'm not saying I'm the man to get these big calls right because my track record has not been good so far. But last season, when Salah was must-have captain, I went for Isak and outscored Salah by 28 points. Game week 29, everyone went for Haaland. I went for Bruno Fernandes and gained 22 points on the field there. So actually, captaincy is one that I'm not so bad at, which Gary will attest to in our captaincy challenge. I have popped a few big scores in that. And we're ahead of Praz. Or we were. Don't know if we are now.
All right, can we move on to my team, which I'm not going to spend too long on because I really don't really have much idea what I'm going to do yet. So Petrovic at home to West Ham, Gabriel and Timber at home to Tottenham, Senesi home to West Ham, Fernandes home to Everton, Semenyo home to West Ham, Minter, my lovely Minter, home to Brentford, Enzo away to Burnley, Saka, and then Mateta and Haaland captain. So yeah, I mean, you lads know I do not think as much as you guys do about FPL during the international break. I'm going to wait and see what happens with Semenyo and Enzo. But I think I'm just going to, sometimes just doing the obvious thing makes sense. And I think assuming they both are unflagged or look likely to make it, I think it'll just be Gabriel to Van Dijk. Just keep it simple. I've been doing that this season and I'm 400,000. I'm not saying I'm top 10k, but it's working okay. So, any thoughts, Trig?
Yeah, it looks a logical move, I think, really. Keep yourself covered, doesn't it?
I mean, I've got 4-3 in the bank, so I could do something more ambitious.
You're going to have to do something soon. You've got far too many transfers, and they're going to end up being wasted if you're not careful. But I guess that's a good thing. In fact, you don't need them. But it's hard to see how you can improve this team. I would be tempted to change Enzo to somebody if I had 4 free transfers.
Go on, Nacho.
But I'm not sure who. I'm not sure who, to be honest.
Go on, Nacho. Trig.
You could use 2 of them and get that young lad Freddie Potts in from West Ham who started playing at 4.4 million for Enzo, and then upgrade Gabriel to Thiago and go 3-4-3.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably as good as anything.
I think.
What could you do?
Because I'm still thinking about free hitting in 13. That's why I kind of don't want to use more than one. I kind of want to do 14 and 15, sort of a mini wild card, and then another mini wild card in 60. Or, so I can bank those 5 in.
The only thing you do have to consider is whether you want, because you're going to have to upgrade Enzo next week. So you're going to have to work out if you've got enough money in the bank. If you get Virgil van Dijk, if you've got enough, does that leave you enough money to get Bumo, for example, or
no? I've looked
somebody
at that.
like
I
that?
only have Cunha. I think Cunha.
So this is why Review wants you to get Anderson. You see, so then next week you can get Bumo or Foden or somebody like that in. Which might not be a bad idea.
We were talking about it last night, actually, weren't we? Because that is who he does want me to go. I don't want to get Foden. It's
no, but there's others. There's Bumo. You could get Bumo next week, or must be others.
I would actually pivot away from Gabriel and Enzo, and I would get in Declan Rice. I feel like he's a much stronger pick for the long term. He's on all the set pieces. Like Trig's shaking his head. He's like got something like 200 points in 27 game weeks since he took on the free kick mantle. I feel like Trig sometimes is a bit stuck in the mud. Sometimes he plays it a bit safe. I'm calling him out on the stream.
Right.
I'm calling out the golden goat.
Rice is ultra safe.
Well, he's on the set pieces. He's scoring the goals from midfield. He's scoring screamers. He's scoring diving headers. He's getting assists. He's getting defcons. He's playing every minute. He's 6.7 million. He's everything all you Chelsea fans think Enzo Fernandez is.
Although I guess Enzo could be explosive this week. I don't think it is a week to take Enzo out, to be honest. I think you've got to give him a Burnley game.
Yeah, I think that's right. Unless he's a real dad. Let's move on to your team, Trig. So you've got Sanchez. Still got Sanchez away to Burnley, Senesi, Lacroix, and Virgil. I'm going to stop reading the teams they're playing now because I've said them so many times. Sarr, Ndiaye, Saka, Cunha. Oh, you made a transfer, have you? Fernandez.
No.
Did you have Cunha last week? Oh, it's because you weren't on the pub.
No.
You weren't on the...
I haven't. I've just put him in, but I haven't actually done it yet.
Oh, right, got you. Haaland and Thiago. Yeah, talk to him.
Well, you talk about Sanchez, but everyone got rid of him after his sending off. We all hated Sanchez. He's kept 3 clean sheets since. He's 4.8 to 4.7. People should be buying Sanchez, not blooming complaining about him. And Chelsea's defence is improving by the minute. So he's not done too badly, to be honest. But, so I took out Reinders. And I had a choice between Semenyo and Cunha. So I've gone for Cunha to save a future transfer.
But you've not
Maybe
done it yet.
Semenyo was better.
No.
Still a chance I could go Semenyo rather than Cunha. It depends on news and stuff. But pretty happy with this team. Sarr's looking good. Gabriel injury was annoying because I already had Virgil van Dijk. You can see I'm keeping Gabriel.
Oh,
he's last on my bench.
Yeah.
Because next week I'm replacing him with a Brentford defender. So I don't need to free hit next week because I've got Thiago. I've got Haaland at home to Leeds. Saka at Chelsea. I don't mind that. United, okay, and Palace. And so good defence next week. So, yeah, I'm quite happy with it. Quite happy with it, really. I mean, I could take a hit this week and get rid of Gabriel. But then who do I bench?
You've got the one free chance. I need to start putting this on the
slides. Yeah. So I've used my one on Cunha.
Okay.
And there is still a chance, like Andrew says, that I do free hit next week. But if I do, of course, I can't take out Gabriel.
Okay, what?
So I would lose a bit of money. But this season, I'm not worrying about money.
You said you were thinking about doing it this week. Why were you thinking about doing it this week?
Doing what this week?
I thought you said you considered free hitting this week.
Oh yeah, free hitting this week. Well, so if I don't get Cunha, I've got Reinders, right? So I free hit this week, which means I've still got Reinders next week when they're at home to Leeds. And I haven't got Semenyo, who's got a great fixture this week. I haven't got Mateta, who's got a great fixture this week. I haven't got any Chelsea players who've got a great fixture this week as well. And I could leave out Haaland and get some Liverpool players and get the free hit out of the way. And then next week, it's given me another week to look at Cunha, another week to look at all my options. So I thought about that. But the problem with taking a free hit is you come back with only one transfer again, don't you? It kind of, the free hit costs you a transfer. So it's not really free, is it? The free hit.
That's just putting me
It's called
off.
a free hit, but it actually does cost you a transfer. So, yeah, which is why I don't want to play it next week. I'd rather actually use a transfer next week than use a free hit. So that's why I'm going to get rid of Gabriel for a Brentford player next week. Or if it's not a Brentford player, it could even be a Man City player. You know, if someone started screaming that someone wasn't going to play, or someone forced a leak upon me, then I might even get a Man City
Forced a leak
player.
upon you. They're going to send telepathically. Kanji, you've not come in for a while, so what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think look, Nick is an excellent FPL manager. I think the way he's handled his team, I've seen him jump through all the hoops of going without Semenyo, then going without Gabriel. He brings Gabriel in, and now he's injured. It's just so frustrating for somebody like Trig, I can imagine. I think
No, I only brought him in to stuff him up. That's why I got him. The only way I can stop Gabriel getting points is to buy him. And it worked. It's worked too well. It's absolutely worked too well, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm sure Nick Cross must feel the same about Semenyo.
I kept Virgil van Dijk all this time because I knew he had a great run and he was going to be a great differential for me. And Gabriel got injured. And now every little prick on the planet has got Virgil van Dijk. And they're all going to be jumping up and down when he scores like they're bloody God's gift to FPL because they've got points from Virgil. And the only reason they've got him is because Gabriel got injured. And I would have had him. And it's so frustrating. And it's such a stupid game. And you can plan and you can plan, like Andrew says, and then all your plans turn to dust. Thanks, Mrs. Trig. Breakfast has arrived. Someone else can call.
I love the visual aider, Andrew.
I'm just doing a quick bit of research off camera. I went over to the forgotten land of Blue Sky to studsupfpl.bsky.social, who was my actually the reason I brought in Declan Rice. And I'll give you the numbers. 144 points in 23 games since taking on set pieces. 144 points in 23 games since taking on set pieces. Just about 6.4 points a match over 23 games. And what is even more interesting is that in the replies to Studs Up FPL's post about this form of Declan Rice, there's a comment from a young man called Nick Triggerlips. That is pretty impressive. Puts him on around 200 points. Allow for some regression and occasional bench and still looking at 160, which is great for the price. I just thought that was quite interesting that such a respected manager as Nick Triggerlips agrees with me that Declan Rice is a great pick.
I was advocating for him weeks ago, wasn't I?
Right up until you wanted to cause a rumble on stream.
But he's very good, Rice. He's very good. He's just boring, like Szoboszlai, which is why I'd rather go for someone.
I feel like there's levels to this game, and Szoboszlai is not in the Rice league. I mean, come on, no. He's like a cross country runner. It's like having Mo Farah in midfield.
He does have the fixtures, doesn't it? We'll see. I mean, he got 2 assists in international duty, didn't he? I mean, he is good, Szoboszlai. I think he was amazing against Real Madrid. Absolutely fantastic.
I feel the whole Szoboszlai push is the wanting of a Liverpool asset for this run rather than any sort of real merit to signing him as a player himself. Quite frankly, I would rather gamble on Ekitike if I was going for a Liverpool player. I would take the chance on Ekitike.
Kanji, let me jump in.
All right.
I know you're going to give
that's enough.
I know you're going to give
enough disrespect.
I know you're going to give a defense, but you can do it while we're talking about your team because, of course, you have them in. So Raya at home to Spurs, Richards away to Wolves, Birdley at home to Forest, Senesi at home to West Ham, Gabriel Ndai away to Man United, Slobosai home to Forest, Semenyo, Fernandez, and then the GOAT front pair, as Trig would refer to it, Thiago and Haaland. And you've got Anderson on the bench there. I also have
4.5 in the bank, so I can just straight up do Paqueta to Saka, but I've already used my one free transfer. Now, this is the interesting thing about the decision this week. I think I have loved the way my FPL team has looked every single week for this entire season, except this one, because what
was your transfer? Is it on here?
Sorry, it was Gyökeres to Thiago. Gyökeres to Thiago. I free hit last week. If I didn't free hit, I would have had more points, and I also would have done Thiago in last week, and I would have just been able to get Saka in for free this week. So using the free hit last week has actually been really frustrating. I can't lie. But so I'm a transfer behind. So let me tell you the situation I'm in. I have the money, Paqueta to Saka. It's definitely going to happen regardless. I don't care about Foden, Cunha. Those guys I feel like decoration. I want the actual plates and the food. Like I want Bukayo Saka for the rest of the season. I don't care. I'm interested to hear, everyone's interested in Declan Rice. Yeah, congrats. Yeah, my entire mini league has Declan Rice except me. So every time I hear the Declan Rice propaganda in my head, my gears are churning, but it's calm. I'm going to stay calm. I think Saka is better than him. And I think I'll be rewarded when I do captain him in a few weeks' time. Maybe potentially Fran and Let's Talk FPL will potentially captain Saka this week too. But so once Saka comes in, I'll be playing in a 3-4-3 structure. I have Van Dijk, Raya. I'm covering up Liverpool and Arsenal. I think the issue is look, Szoboszlai can pick up a yellow card. He can miss any game. I also need to sell Gabriel. I also need to sell Paqueta to Saka. So I feel like I have 3 potential things that I do need to solve in the next few weeks in order for me to feel happy about my team. But I haven't taken a hit all season. And if I continue down this path, I could potentially just not take a hit all season long. Because once I get to game week 16, I'm not going to take any hits. At least I don't see myself doing that. But I'm curious to hear, what do you guys think? Would you consider taking a -4 to bring Saka in just to bench Anderson versus Sunderland? Or do you think the floor of Anderson with 4 points is worth not taking the hit for Saka?
I wouldn't take a hit this week. Your team looks fine for this week.
I agree.
I would take the hit.
Surprise, surprise.
Saka could score a penalty, get an assist in a 2-0 win, get the 3 bonus points, and absolutely romp you ahead of all your rivals, whereas Anderson will tick over.
Who are you bringing in Saka for?
Oh, Paqueta.
Oh, you must have a lot of money in the bank.
Yeah, 4.5 in the bank, yeah.
Why aren't you taking... You don't get bonus points to go on a season without a hit. You don't get an extra 20-point achievement bonus.
Yeah, I probably would do that one, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because you have got problems building up. So it gets rid of your problems and it gives you Saka.
Yeah, there's another flip side. There's a flip side to this, right? Once I do Saka in, that's the lock that's going to happen, right? I'm very undecided on what to do with Gabriel. I am undecided whether I want to move sideways to Timber, because I think Timber is kind of like when I used to watch Trent. I kind of see that in Timber for Arsenal. And then if I go to Timber, then it would be Ndiaye to Minte once he leaves for AFCON, right? So that's the first route. The other route is Gabriel down to a 4.5, whoever it is. I was considering Van de Berg, but I would need to do it in 13 because I need that entry point for Burnley. And even if I do that, the money also needs to go up into the midfield to get to a Foden or an Mbeumo or a Cunha. So I just don't know, because once Gabriel is back, this guy's not out for the season. He's coming back. We're all going to want Gabriel back again. So I'm very cautious of switching the money and putting it into the midfield and then knowing I want to put it back into defense later. So, and maybe the knock-on effect from that can be I could just sell Raya down to Sanchez and upgrade to Gabriel later. So there's so much to really think about. So I think for now, without like just burdening you guys with too many thoughts in my mind, I think the simple thing is I will roll, but I would say 60% chance I take a hit, 40% chance I just don't take the hit.
Andy, when you do that, you look like the bad guy from Austin Powers. You're evilly planning.
Just take the hit. Like, if you want your man Gabriel back, you can just sell Van Dijk for him and improve your squad immeasurably. So you might as well get Saka in and have a genuine captaincy alternative. However, I will not just be the devil whispering on your shoulder, but what I will also say is that Saka looked good last week when Gyökeres was out. What's he going to look like when Gyökeres is back? Because he's been underwhelming since Gyökeres came, and we can't overlook that. Now, Saka's a good player, probably the best alternative captaincy option on a consistent basis at this moment. Also, it gives you the option of the easy switch to Cole Palmer if you so desire. So I would just take the hit. I mean, what are you waiting for? Why are those
honestly,
4 points
like
so precious?
The reason why I'm skeptical is because I've already wasted my free hit. So let's just assume you can gain 25 points from a free hit on me. Let's also assume you, like everyone in my mini league, hasn't used any of their chips. So they still have their bench boost. They still have their triple captain. I don't have any. So in any of these weeks, I can be so suboptimal. I'm like, for example, my mini league lead is only 50 points. But I think with someone that has a triple captain and a bench boost in hand, I think you can catch 50 points easily. So
my mini league lead is only 50 points. It's taking the season.
No, but that's it's all in context, right? Like you have 2 chips. Like you can gain like 15 points from triple captain, 15 points from bench boost, and it's only 20. Like that's nothing. We have like 20 weeks left to play.
I've changed my mind. Don't get Saka. He's not worth it. You've got Spurs, you've got Chelsea, you've got Brentford, who are apparently the new goat pick defence. Then you've got Aston Villa. You've only got one good game in the next 5.
Yeah.
So I just wouldn't bother. What I would do is take a hit for Esteval and see what happens.
Okay.
How good is it going to feel if it comes off? Like, let's be
back
real.
in differential.
Let's be real. You know, you would.
Kanji. Do you
Yeah.
prefer Richards over Anderson
Oh yeah, no doubt. I'm not like 100%.
this week?
Really?
Yeah. I think
do love Gary's high pitch. Really?
Yeah, no, I think Palace are a level above Fulham just as a team.
They're away to Wolves, and
I understand
that.
I don't like Richards as a pick because he hasn't been able to play 3 games in a week. Now they've been resting him for the European games, but when we've got midweek Premier League games, I think he's going to be rested in those.
Yeah.
The other
We'll have to
thing
see,
is
right?
Your man Canvok came in and was the man of the match last week as well. So there's a genuine competition in that defence now. And Richards, having travelled all the way from America, which I assume is where America played their games. So, I mean, I might be wrong there. I haven't researched these smaller nations on a footballing term. But like, will he be rested? Who knows? Like, if your man's come in and been the man of the match, why wouldn't he keep his place? Lacroix and Gay aren't getting benched, are they? So,
well, that's something I might disagree with. Like that's where I think like FPL is all about predicting where you think X minutes are, right? And I think Gahey's more likely to be benched than Richards. Gahey's not in the future plans of Crystal Palace. Gahey's picked up an injury. I think if I was the coach, I would look to bench Gahey in this run. But Richards has been getting managed. And it wouldn't be surprised if they play Burnley in the midweek and they bench Richards. Wouldn't be a surprise, right? So let's see what happens.
I've just had a look on Solio at the defender projections for this week, and you won't believe who's top.
Boy.
You won't believe who's top defender this week.
I'm going to guess because I saw your thing the other day.
No.
Oh, not this week. Oh, this week.
Lacroix for this week.
Really?
Saliba second and Richards in third. I'm very surprised by that. That's above Anderson, so it looks like you've got it the right way round.
What I would, just an idea I would float for you there, Kanji. If we accept Haaland is destined to blank this weekend, Anderson's floor is higher than Haaland's because of the DEFCONs.
Are you going to tell me to captain Anderson?
I'm just
He's
saying,
the doctor
maybe you
April.
could start him. All I know is that my man D Unit is benching Haaland apparently this week, and Anderson is Anderson's 3 points better than Haaland's 2.
Don't listen to him, Kanji. He's doing the evils. He's doing the evils.
All right, let's see how it goes. I think my major decision is Saka worth the -4. So we'll see.
No,
Okay.
no, and I am a man who likes a hit, and I'm saying it's not. Declan Rice, on the other hand, could well be worth a -4.
Lads, shall we do the 2 sections that we planned? We've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. Up to you, lads.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, all right. Okay, all right. So, it's the FPL Content Creator Awards this week. Me and Andrew are we're not asking you to vote for us. The votes were closed ages ago. I thought what we would do is give a complete and utter blank, not the people who are on, who would be your top 3 winners from the last year for FPL content. And we're not allowed to nominate anyone who is on the PubCast, so we're not biased. Kanji, can I come to you at first, mate?
Sure. I think my GOAT, like the OG, is going to be Let's Talk FPL. So I'd always put him first. Second for me is going to be FPL Focal. I think I like the way he's just been managing his team. He's done excellently. I mean, look at what he did this week, Thiago and Saka, and then it's delivered massively. And then I would say my third favorite would be, I was going to say Nightmare and Pickle are my 2 other favorites because they play FPL their way. So they're very differential. So that's what I would say.
Okay, we'll go Pickle then because Nightmare banned us from voting. What about you, Trig?
Sure, I haven't really thought of this. Who do I watch? Above average, I like them. I quite like watching those ones. So I'll give them a vote. Jesus, I watch them all, by the way. I love them all, but it's just a question of which 2 shall I put in? I've been watching Who Got the Assist lately, actually. I quite like that one.
Okay.
Put that one in there. Not many people watch that.
Not on YouTube. They've got a big following on Spotify, I think.
Who else? I'll say Solio. I like the Solio one as well.
Interesting. I wonder why. Solio boy.
No, I like that. I like the what's his face? Johnny on there. I just because it plays so different than we all do, and I just find it fascinating, like the patience that they have, and how they can be so calm and captain somebody other than Haaland in a lot of weeks, and he's like, "Well, just do it," and it's like I find it fascinating because I can't do it. I'm not that kind of unemotional with it. I can do that. I can't cut out my feelings or my fears in the way that some of those analytic managers do. And I just find it fascinating. You know, it's why I like the one that Focal does as well. Dallimore, he does once a week, comes on, the world's #1. And I just like listening to his thought processes,
Is he analytical?
you know, because they're like different from my own, and you feel like you can learn things. Well, so I quite like that one as well at the moment.
Andrew, what's your top 3 at the moment?
I hate them all. Only Nightmare is necessary. No, I'm only joking. Now, I find this a very hard thing to judge, and you give me no advance warning, and now I'm torn between who I like and who. I've been carrying this stream, man. Come on. I am going to say the ones I like, the ones that I watch the most that aren't on this channel. I always watch Yelena. I really like her vlogs. It's something different. It's entertaining, and I love the cameos from Az. So I would say her. She is one to watch. I like the Black Box. I always watch Az. Some people call me his little pet now. And but I am the little terrier biting at his ankles. No, I love the Black Box, and they were very kind to have me on. And I feel like replacing Mark Southerns was a very difficult thing for anything to do, you know. And I feel most shows would have gone by the wayside losing someone like Mark Southerns, and I feel like they've done well. I feel that they deserve more credit than they get. I like above average. Now, above average are one that I think are exquisite. They're excellent, but I don't watch them enough because there's just so much. I try and watch everyone, and like the last year or so, I've made friends in this community, and I try and watch all my pals, and it's hard to watch other people that are also excellent. Like my favourite that I haven't mentioned is The Wire. I feel like the FPL Wire are somehow both exalted as brilliant, but also perennially underrated. But I think like you've got Late Riser who comes in and he plays a different way. You've got Praz who comes in and is an elite player. You've got Zophar, the old school general. And I think it's an excellent podcast. And yes, sometimes they do converge a bit, but I think The Wire deserves a lot more credit than it gets. I'm going to give a shout out to Gianni because Gianni gets an awful lot of stick. But look at the variety of content he's producing. You brought it up in your members video, Gary. He's getting interviews. He's highlighting smaller channels like Kieran from the Double Pivot. He's bringing in outside celebrities like Neil Robertson. You know, and he's doing it all with a smile and a class that, you know, belies some of the treatment he gets. And I feel Gianni should win these awards on tomorrow night. I feel he deserves the credit. And I would like to see it, but the problem I have is I think if he did, he's just going to get an awful lot of grief. And I just don't think he deserves it. On this channel, we are all fans of Gianni Battice. And I do. I feel he deserves more credit than he gets. So there is my top three. There's Yelena, there's The Wire, there's The Black Box, there's Gianni, there's...
It doesn't quite fit into three. I'll give mine quickly. So I did my three in a members video the other day where I talked in detail about this. But at third, I have Nightmare, but I'm not going to have him because I can't have him. I'm going to have Yelena as well because I'm going to call it the entertainment reaction content. Then I'm going to go, I think all three of us will have shouted them out, above average FPL, because I do think they've gone up a gear this season. They were already brilliant, but they're getting guests on, they're improved their, I know people probably won't notice this so much apart from us as content creators, but they've improved their graphics and everything. Second, and number one is still my man, let's look FPL Andy. First ever video I did in the channel, he was alongside Black Box, my S tier content, and that has not changed. Okay. Last thing we're going to talk about, lads. It's Men's Mental Health Day. I don't actually know if it's Men's Mental Health Day or International Men's Day, which is the third thing ever. I remember watching the Scoutcast years ago, and Joe's shouting this sort of thing out. We're talking about 10 years ago now, because men don't talk enough about their mental health. But I don't think the situation has really changed. I'm just going to ask you guys, I was originally going to ask you what do you do when you've had a bad game week, but we talked about that before. What do you do when you're just having a bad day and you need to stress out? Andrew, I've completely no idea what you're going to say on this one.
Well, I think... like, I could go for the joke answer and say, "Ooh, sneak off to the bathroom and have a wank," because everyone feels better after having a wank. But, I mean, let's be fair, it is a serious conversation. If we're talking about mental health, it's something I have struggled an awful lot with in the past. I've been hospitalised because of my mental health. And what happened, what made me get up... I'm not prepared for this at all. That's why I'm resorting to humour, because this is probably a bigger conversation. But what I would say, if you are struggling, just go to bed, have a sleep, and because the next day you will generally feel a bit better because of having the sleep, or have a drink of water, or just talk to someone. Like, right, I will say this, like, people always say with mental health, talk to someone. If you feel ill, if you feel mentally struggling, just talk to someone. But what use is that when you're ravaged with anxiety and you're worried about what people are going to say in response to you saying, my head's absolutely fucked? Like, there is still a stigma about mental health. So saying talk to someone, if you're struggling, go and talk to someone. It doesn't really help because it's too much of a challenge, you know? I don't think there are any easy answers. I don't think there are any simple things. And to be honest, I actually think mental health is talked about far more than it ever used to be. 10 years ago, when I was writing mental health blogs, like, nobody talked about it. Now, I feel like the world is over medicalized, and like these medical definitions of mental health conditions like are almost meaningless because they're used as throwaway comments. Like, this isn't a bad mental health thing, but how many times is somebody who is selfish described as a narcissist? The word has lost all meaning. And I don't know, I'm losing my train of thought because I am not, when I discussed all this with you on the interview a year ago, I had notes and I haven't got notes. But my point is, like, mental health isn't an easy solution. And people want, oh, what do you do if you have a bad day? Well, you just try and survive and hope it gets better. You can't always just go and talk to someone, because how can you talk to someone when you fear that doing so is going to destroy your life?
Okay.
You know, go on.
Can I say what you said in that interview, Samaritans?
The Samaritans is a great option. In fact, if you can't talk to anyone, talk to the Samaritans. The number is 116 123 in this country. There'll be other mental health things in other countries, which I don't know. Maybe Gary can put them in a pinned comment afterwards after he researches them. Who knows? There's always, but the Samaritans you can email, which I believe is J-O, at samaritans.org.uk, but that does take a couple of days for a response because they do it one after, you know, like next, first come, first served. But like, just be kinder to yourself. It's all right to say, I'm having a shit day. My life is falling apart and I don't know what to do. I'll try and just give it 10 minutes and see how I feel then. And if all else fails, go and have a wank because you will feel better.
Wait, so let me add to this. So, like, as someone that's like just left his job, just had a breakup, I totally feel like sometimes like my mental health is just such a mess. And the two things that have really helped me is like, one, finding balance in my life where it's like I'm able to go to mosque once a week. I can go and pray. I also like to go to the gym. Like, I know it's hard for some people to stay consistent, but even just going for a walk, like my dad has just said, listen, if you don't hit the gym, at least just go for a walk. And like, it helps. Like, those two things are something I would consider.
Good advice. Trig?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a difference between having a mental health problem and having a bad day, isn't there? That's the first thing.
Yeah.
And but what I do if I'm having a bad day, or any day really, is I go for a run. I just lace up, get out the door and go for a run. Or like Kanji, I might go to the gym. But I think that's the key, is to get up. And a lot of the reason people have a bad day these days is to do with these little screens we're staring at, isn't it? And best thing you can do, close them, get out the door, go for a run. I mean, my mental health yesterday, after trying to persuade Gary to put that differentials thing in, you would not believe the ructions that were going on yesterday. So I just laced up and went for a run. Kanji must have wondered what he got into when he joined our little WhatsApp group, because absolute madness. But it's all good fun. And yeah, just find something that you can do to kind of take yourself out of, because nothing's normally as bad as what you think it is. So just go and do something else. I agree with Andrew, by the way. Having a red arrow on an international week is an absolute disaster. So I know how it ruined his birthday.
Yeah.
2 whole weeks with a red arrow is not fun if it's a bad red arrow. It really isn't.
Another slightly silly thing, which actually did really help me, is try and find something to like a bit of escapism. Like when I was at my suicidal worst, like this is going to sound really stupid, but one of the things that stopped me from taking my life was before I did, I just had to see what happened in Game of Thrones. And I know it sounds stupid. Yeah, it sounds stupid, but I could still take my life at the end of the next season if I really want to. But I wanted to see what happened. And obviously by the end of season 8, it kind of exacerbated the problem. But
That's the way you want to quit.
There was one time where I'd made a colossal mess up in my life and I felt very much like I didn't want to leave my bedroom at all. So for like 2 weeks, I got The Witcher 3 on the PlayStation and I just played that for 2 weeks. I just shut off the world, like ringing sick to work, shut off the world and just lose yourself in something. Football Manager's just come out. If you could lose yourself in that for 2 weeks. When my grandma died, I bought Football Manager and just played that for 2 months, like whenever I had a spare moment, and it distracted me. And certainly with Football Manager, the strategizing helps your brain work. Like there's a very interesting phenomenon that if you play Tetris after suffering from a traumatic incident, your recovery from the trauma is actually better than if you don't play Tetris. And it's because it's the way it gets your mind like thinking of different things. I don't know if you've seen that research before, Gary.
No, but I know the general thing. Yeah, the general thing,
but just find something to think about. Like screens can be damaging, but like if I didn't have the screens, I'd probably be sat in the dark with my own head for a long period of time, and that would not be ideal at all. Kanji needs to go in 3 minutes, so we'll move on. I don't know if that came up on the screen or not, but that is my point. Just find something to get you through. And, you know, if you can talk to someone, great. If you can't, that's okay. It's all right that you're struggling. It's all right that you find things hard, because we all do. And there are solutions. And if you just can hang in the game, it's like football. Sometimes Man City are all out balls to the wall, taking you down. Sometimes you just need to stick 11 men behind the ball and hang on for 10 minutes. But if you do, you might get that long ball over the top and get the goal on the counter-attack. And sometimes that's what life is like. You just have to stay in the game.
Lovely metaphor there, Andrew. I think we should probably wrap up at that point. Kanji, I was about to say where can we find you, but I can do, can't we? Because you can find you on X.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. I am so active on Twitter. I love spending time there. I have my own group chats with my friends. Like I love FPL. So anytime anyone wants to chat FPL, feel free to just DM me there and we can chat.
And of course, you can now be found there as one of our co-hosts. First co-host I've brought into our little group since the start of the season. And now, after last night, you're probably thinking, what the hell is...
There have been hundreds of messages in the WhatsApp chat every single day. I'm like, wow, this group chat is popping off.
It is. I did warn you before I added you. Andrew,
that's just Darius listing different players that are his must-haves for the game week.
Nightmare, where can we find you, man? I believe you may have a video coming out.
FPL Nightmare on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Blue Sky, although I don't go on Blue Sky all that much. Normally only when FPL Hippie's messaging me with his memes. But yeah, I'm about.
Trigger talks FPL, or Trig talks FPL, I think, isn't it? And I might do a video today on a game week 12 free hit just to see if I can talk myself into it, because I kind of do my videos on the fly where I just think as I go along, because I actually decide what I'm doing while I'm actually doing the videos sometimes, because it's like opens up my thought processes. So yeah, Trig talks FPL on YouTube anyway.
I love how you put something different in. You had put it in your thing, Nick. You had, what did you have last week? You had New Zealand chess champion. Then Saturday you had armchair physio.
Oh yeah, I'm back to 500k.
500k. So please do join us on the lock-in. I think we'll go at 7:40, Trig. Because have you noticed
Yeah, whenever.
there's no 8 o'clock game this week. So I think
Who's the last match?
I think it's City Newcastle. I'm not sure. I have a feeling
Newcastle and Man City's at 5:30. The glorious Voltamada will put City to the sword. Haaland will blank, and you can after Haaland blanks, you can all come on the lock-in and commiserate, knowing that you've got 2 days to wait until my Boomer takes all the glory.
Well, if Darius is on and he's bent Haaland, we can all laugh at him.
You'll be calling him a genius.
Just noticed Chelsea have a first game of the game week. I wonder if we're going to get any leaks for that game. There's not normally Chelsea leaks, is there? But people will be trying. They're going to be worried about Enzo.
So if Esteval starts, I might free hit this week after all.
Yeah, exactly. Deadline. Oh, it's 1:30 a.m. here. Shocking time for a deadline.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining us. Please do like and subscribe if you are new around here. And who's on next week? I'm trying to remember on the podcast. Oh, we've got Meerkat and potentially the ghost, the man, the lesser seen Roberto. So we will see you then or on the lock-in, hopefully. Cheers, everyone.